Good morning, Don. How are you doing today?
I'm just fine, thank you.
Dude, I got to tell you, I really love what you've done with this Christmas music, because I looked right at my wife and I said, you know what this is? This is a storyteller's Christmas. Because, I mean, you really take me into a newer layer of understanding something as simple as Blue Christmas. But then again, is it really a simple song?
Well, that arrangement is different from any other one that you'll ever hear. It goes from minor to major and back again throughout the song, and I just had an idea for that, and it turned out really great. The guys in Nashville knew exactly what I wanted to do, and we had a great Dennis Soley, I think, played most of the saxophone parts on that, and he's a legend in Nashville, and yeah, I just really am so happy with this. These tracks have been released before years ago, and they were completely redone, and suddenly I never liked the way my voice sounded. I never liked certain instrumentation. We changed all that, and suddenly the voice sounds like it should sound. And we put a very swinging upright bass on some of these things,
Wow.
like a guy named Jim Ferguson, who I've known for 30 years. And he was on some of the original stuff, too. So, yeah, I just really am happy the way it turned out.
Wow. I always thought it was just radio people that said, I don't like the way that I sound. But in radio, once it's out there, it's gone forever. So for you to go back and revisit this, my God, that's like a dream come true.
It really is, because this stuff bothers me. I don't like that, and each time I would hear it. So I got rid of it, and I fixed it, and it sometimes, you'll think something bothers you that you don't like, and you'll change it, and it actually doesn't sound as good as it did before for some strange reason, but that was not the case in the record.
Man, I'll never forget going into a gallery with my paintings on a canvas, and the curator actually said, if you don't like it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't belong to you anymore. How do you deal with that, Don? Because I mean, I realize that we're the ones that are present while it's being created, but there's always those outsiders that have a different interpretation.
Well, once you put a record out there, it's out there. It's like, who knows what it's going to do, where it's going to end up. One of these songs that's been around a long time could end up in a movie and become a very famous track. So you really don't know. That just has to do with recording. But as far as songs that I might write, you never know who's going to do something with a song and how it's going to end up. So you really have to just kind of let it go, but you want to make sure that it's the absolute best that it can be.
Yeah. The song, "Oh Little Town of Bethlehem," so many times the only place we get to listen to that is in church. I mean, I love the idea that's part of this plan right now.
We have some wonderful background singers on that. I did most of the background singing, arranging. That is to say, I told the singers what I wanted them to do, and they did it. But that's a gorgeous song.
Has your ear for music changed over the years in the way that as we all mature, we all have this different sight and sound that we carry forward?
Well, I haven't matured, so that's one of the wonderful things about me. I'm still about 13 years old, and I like what I like, and I can't stand what I don't like, and I will say more of what I don't like is around and out there now than that I do like. So that's closing in on me, I guess, a bit. But I have my records, and I have the things that I have around me that I want, and I have great musician friends that I've known for sometimes over 30 years.
Wow.
And we go on the road, and we make rock and roll. We do what we do what we do. So I still have that.
When you speak of those friends, do you have a writing instrument that's always been with you when you're penning out those songs? Because I'm a writer, and I have pens that are like 25 years old.
the thing about it is that the guys that I work with are they're more than family. I got to say that.
Oh.
They really are. And I actually have written some songs with one of my guitar players, and I have a new album called American Boys, which is going to be coming out in February. So we have a lot of plans for things to be released.
Don't you love the way that music builds its relationship around you? It's all. I just love that story where people just continue to grow with their art, and you're a great example of that. Where it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to turn it off, and it's not going to turn me off, so therefore we're going to work together, for many years ahead.
Well, you have to use everything. Everything has to be added on. I don't like people that talk about reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
I always thought I was fine. All I needed to do was get better and improve myself. But I don't need to throw away an old Don McLean and come out with a new Don McLean. I just need to make the one I have better each year. Everything has to be added on and added on. So I keep everything.
Yeah. 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 When you have because snow comes down in so many different ways. And when I hear this one, it's almost like you're in the mountains somewhere. You really, truly experienced it. And you're saying, hey, look, this is how I want you to see your own snowstorms.
Well, that's the nature of being an interpreter. There are two things that I do. One is I write songs and then I make records of those songs. And the other is I sing other people's songs. And I don't consider the singing of other people's songs to be a small thing.
Yeah.
It's a major thing to me. So when I take on a project like this and we take a little song like Let It Snow, which everybody has done, we actually worked up a jazz arrangement.
Yep.
Of that song, and that's a swinging group there of about 6 guys, and it starts off with that little salt peanuts thing, that I forget the jazz guy that used to do that, but Dizzy Gillespie.
Yum.
Doom dee dum, dee dum, deep doo deep, that whole thing, and we did it the other night. I just came back from Hawaii and sang a couple of nights at the Blue Note, and we did it with guitars, and yeah, it really felt good. The audience really loved it.
Are you shocked by the way that people still just love the hell out of you? I mean, you're such a major staple in our lives.
Well, I can't tell you how much that means to me when I hear that, and there are a lot of people that in my business that have monumental egos that are always trying to, prove how important they are. And I don't think of myself as important at all, but I love it when people tell me that the songs that I've written or recordings that I've made have meant something to them. Because so much of life is negative, It really is. You get bad news from all over the place. And it's tough. People are, it's tough making it. So if I can provide something, along with other artists and other experiences that people have in order to make life bearable, I'm just so happy to hear it.
And you give us permission to create with you, because to this day, I got to tell you, I'm still trying to break down American Pie. I think it's 6 pieces of amazing poetry that just happen to become one song. What is that? Is that what it is?
Well, I'm lucky now because there's a very popular documentary called "The Day the Music Died: The Story of Don McLean's American Pie," and it streams on Paramount Plus. And it will tell you everything that you need to know about this song, how I wrote it, and the long and winding road that I took in order to get to the point where I wrote this song. Because this took 10 years to write.
Oh, my God.
Starting with the death of Buddy Holly and then finding myself singing with Pete Seeger in 1966 and 7 and 8 and 9, and then being surrounded by a lot of people who were very creative and a lot of scientists also, because he was on the cutting edge of the environmental movement before there even was one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was so lucky to be right there. And anyway, I decided I wanted to write a big song about America. I mean, a major song about America. And yet I didn't want, this land is your land, or somewhere over there, America the Beautiful, or something like that.
It's almost like you've learned how to tap into us, because when you do a song like God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, I mean, it folds so much into my life, because I just want to sing right there with you. It's like you're saying, do it, sing with me. It's okay.
Well, absolutely, it's okay. It's a great thing to do. I think that, music should bring joy, into people's lives. And these songs come from a very long tradition of people singing them. Mm-hmm. Go around caroling in front of your window back in the old days. People used to sing Christmas carols and go around, 3 or 4 people would sing them, it's a beautiful thing. We've lost touch, and really lost touch with so much tradition. And it doesn't have to be folk tradition or any of that stuff. It's just the things that people do, to make life better, mm-hmm. Have been replaced by spectacle and too much information, and I think that we've lost. You have to believe in something, and I think this is something that I figured out as an old guy, and that is that if you don't believe in something, the country is lost. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look at the people out there, the Chinese, people over in the Middle East. These people deeply believe in something, and it makes them very powerful. Mm-hmm. We have lost our belief in whatever. We've been diluted by so many different things, and so I think you really have to start by believing in yourself, if I were to say that. And I would say that as you move through life doing things that are righteous and that are truthful, that you discover God. Yep. Because and I think the connection there with you, if you can't get with that, at least believe in yourself, and don't let people change you, and don't let people corrupt you. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the problem. Is there's so much corruption now, and that is what this kind of music stands in opposition to. It's purity. It's a sacredness, really, and that is not corruptible.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you speak like this, and the reason why is because I have an iHeartRadio channel that's based on, if we don't get to know ourselves first, how do we expect to be open enough to know somebody else? And I call it vocal defragging, by just asking yourself the question instead of asking other people, because if the other people are wrong, then you hold it against them as well as yourself. And you seem to be that type of person that I'm going to ask myself the question, and then I'm going to follow where my heart puts me.
Well, I would say that's true. I am a romantic, so I love romance. I don't think I'm much good at love. I wouldn't have 2 marriages under my belt, but I love romance. I like things to be. I like to be doing something. I felt that being who I wanted to be was romantic. A singer and a songwriter and a rambling man with a guitar, who put his ideas forward on the stage to people and moved on after that. Didn't stick around. People have the advantage and the disadvantage of being planted in one place. I don't have that. in my whole life, I've never worked for anyone in my entire life,
Yeah.
except when I was a paper boy.
Yeah.
And that's the only job I ever had. And after that, I realized I discovered the guitar, and I was able to make more money with a guitar than as a paper boy. So that's how it started.
Well, you speak of that romance, and right away I'm reminded of the song "The Christmas Waltz," and I'm going, oh my God, there's a vibration in this. I love that kind of a blues vibration, but to get into the blues, you've got to have a love and a romance.
Well, that's again that swinging combo that we had on some of those tracks. Let It Snow, and then the Christmas Waltz, and it starts off with a swinging bass, you know. And each song I arranged to get out of it what it was that I was hearing, and we were able to, you know, get that onto tape. Because that's the trick, you know, is you can have all the ideas you want to have, but if you don't get them to translate into a recording that somebody wants to listen to,
Yeah.
Then you're, you know, and each step along the way, you have to succeed. So if you write a song, then you have to arrange it. It has to be produced in a certain way, and it has to result in the kind of request. There's a lot of hoops you got to jump through.
Yeah.
You know, in order to get any place in the music business.
But to go back, because I always tell people you can't go back into your past, and I'm sitting here talking with you, and you have gone back, but you earned that ticket to ride, to go back to that past with a clearer vision of the purpose of that song.
Well, yes, and also there's a recording company that's put this record out, and that will put my new album out in February, American Boys, that are releasing 14 other albums of mine that I own.
Wow.
And every one of those albums is going to be remastered. So albums that are obscure, like Primetime or Headroom, those are going to have a whole more, a bigger dynamic sound because of the fact that they will be remastered, but they're all coming out on vinyl and out on CD in the next, I don't know, couple of years.
Wow, we've got to make plans on getting together in February, because I want to break down those songs on that new album, because you're not afraid to talk about how you put music together.
No, I'm happy to talk about it, and I think it's important that somebody talks about it, because you've got so many young people out there who want to play the guitar and who want to sing and want to write songs. And unfortunately, most of them don't have a clue about how to do it.
Right.
They just really don't. You know, you have to learn how to write a melody, and you have to learn how to express yourself with lyric writing, which is, you know, there's so many art forms that you have to master. The recording studio, you have to master singing and performing, and the way this happens is that you devote yourself 100% at all times to doing this, to the exclusion of just about everything. You know, friends, family, you know, anything. You're always involved with practicing your guitar or your piano or your mandolin or something, and you ain't got no time for nothing.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
I only laugh because, I mean, we're not getting that time back, but you better enjoy it while it's lasting.
Well, you want to make something out of yourself,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that there are two different, well, there's lots of different kinds of people, but there are people that kind of want to just enjoy their life, and then there are people that want to make something out of themselves,
Yeah.
and they have goals. So there's one thing to dream, you know, there's the American dream, but the American, really, it's the goals that you have, not your dreams, that allow you to make your dreams come true. That's how you do it. You don't just sit around and dream. You set goals for yourself. I mean, I was working on being Don McLean when I was 14 years old.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, I was already thinking about what I was going to look like and how I was going to sound, and playing my guitar, and and performing and doing all these things, singing and practicing, like hours every day to do these things.
Yep. Oh, Don, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thank you.
You be brilliant today, okay?
Well, thanks for having me on your show. I enjoyed it.